Scooby Dooby Doo. Ba doo 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 doo. Strangers in the night. Exchanging glances. Strangers in the night. Hey, Cesaro! Gotta reload this page real quick because YouTube, that's why. Jeez. Leslie, Big, Cody, Heron's in, Lex is in, and Page isn't working. Well, of course it isn't. Hold on a second, guys. I love YouTube. I love YouTube. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Milog's in, Gemini, Insel, TNT, Saeed, Mr. Ease. Oh, hold on, I gotta do this. Pull that down. Okay, pull on that. Yeah, today I want to. Mineta is going to be the greatest hero. I wanted to talk to you guys some about the things that you want to see when I go down to Disney too. I got a notification 2 days in a row. Oh, gee, wow, Cesar, that must be Susan must have made a mistake there. Oh, you don't know how long you can stay, Wolverine? All right. Stay as long as you can. We like having you. Yamikage. Lily? Hey, Lily. And Lenny's in. Oh, you know what? My beard. I've got some of the worst facial hair ever. It's like me. It's coarse. It's rough. It's difficult to deal with. It's not smooth. It ain't good. Hey, Jamie. Michael's in. Ben's here. Glenn Akers is back. Carter's in. Now, I love Disney Carter. I'll get started talking about what I was going to bring up to you guys. Just so some notifications did go out. We'll let at least some of them get in there. I just saved you from fapping. Well, it's like, I got to say that I don't know if that's a rescue. Because that's something very, very... Mickey Mouse versus Goku? Oh, you got to remember... Mickey'd spend his last dime in defense of his properties. Yeah, I'd say Mickey wins with a copyright strike over Goku. Takes him to court and defeats him. Take a picture of Mickey's fancy prostitution heel zero says. I can do a fast pass under the table with one hand. It's messy though. Yeah, I've never had TNT. I've never gone to Disney World. To be honest, I'm such a Disney... Or, I'm sorry, never been to Disneyland. I'm such a Disney World nut. It never even attracted me. Hey, Rocky! Rocky says, saw your reaction to Goofy's trial. Late to seeing it, but still funny. Yeah, as I've always said, I find immense amounts of humor when things that are being lampooned are things that are, like, important to me or big to me. So, again, if somebody's lampooning Disney or Disney characters, I find that really funny. Let's see. Hey, Moonshine Girl. Yeah. Hell yeah, mate. Oh, okay. I didn't see what that one was. Disney versus Dragon Ball in a basketball game. Goofy would be the best center. Well, the fast passes for TOT and Test Track. You got to remember too, Jamie. Now with that system they have with the fast passes, you can only get certain. What they do with fast passes, when you're getting them for a certain park, oh, shut up, dogs. They categorize them. So in some of the parks, you can only get a fast pass for one of the higher end rides that are together in a group, and then the others have to be selected from the lower end. Of those two, Tower of Terror is my favorite. Now, I like doing Test Track, but I like that even more when the kids are there or something, because Test Track, all rides are repetitive, but it's not really a thrill ride. It's the fun of creating the car and stuff like that. So that I enjoy more with the kids. So Tower of Terror would definitely be higher on my list there. I heard a rumor that Star Wars Park in Disney World only has 2 attractions or rides. Well, there aren't going to be... the Star Wars Land, from what I understand, the rides are going to be insanely cool from what I've been hearing. Particularly the Millennium Falcon ride. But it's going to be more about the experience than anything else, especially once Disney World opens up the hotel, too. And then when you stay in the Star Wars hotel, you're part of the story right from the time to get there. Oh, thanks, Aid. Do I recommend you to try wrestling, Darren? I never recommend it to anyone. Because the way I've always looked at it, wrestling hurts you so much and beats you up so intensely, right from day one of training through the entirety of your career. It's something that you need to really, really want to do. I mean, you got to have a desire, a strong desire for it. It can't be something you're thinking about doing or you won't stick with it, which is probably for the best. Then you don't end up all brain damaged like me. Yeah, that system, Jamie, but it's not too bad if you know how to work around it. Now, what I'm going to do, so I want to get you guys' take on all this stuff. I'm going down next month. I'll be going down I'm leaving the evening of the 24th. See, a lot of the Disney videos at the channel will be describing how to get good deals when you have to travel to Disney and stuff. So I was able to put together cheap everything, cheap airfare, got the resorts at a really good rate. We've got a problem kicking the balls. Ho, ho. Joe. So I'm going down the evening of the 24th. I'll be there the 25th through the 28th of March. So if by any chance anybody, I mean, there's only a few of us in here right now, but if by any chance anybody is going to be down at Disney at that time, by all means, obviously let me know and come find me. But what I want to know is the things that you guys would like to see as far as upcoming videos about Disney, because that's what I'm going down for, is to get lots of footage. And I'm going to be live streaming from down there because I want to see how much you guys enjoy live streams from Disney. And I wish I could, Moonshine Girl. And I bought a ticket to the Disney After Hours in Animal Kingdom. I want you guys to see that we've done one After Hours before. It's a separate ticket. It goes for like 3 hours after the parks are officially closed. They only put out a limited number of tickets for this event. We did it at Magic Kingdom, my wife and I, a couple of years ago, a little over a year ago. The place was almost empty. I sat outside of Space Mountain looking around, and all of a sudden dawned on me, it's like, I'm freaking here alone. It's amazing. And so now, for those of you who don't know, Animal Kingdom is where they put in Avatar Land. And what I think is the greatest theme park ride anywhere is in that land. It's the Banshee ride. It's insane. Flight of the Banshee it's just nuts. It's such a cool ride. Unfortunately, you can't get video of it because of the way it straps you in. But the ride itself is fantastic. And the Navi River, traveling down the Navi River there is insanely cool in itself. So I'll be there for that. We'll see. I want to see if there are any lines at all, if it's as desolate as Magic Kingdom was. And I thought it'd be a fun thing to live stream together. Favorite Disney movie and character? See, I'm bigger Disney World nut than I ever was individually for Disney. I like the Disney movies, don't get me wrong. The favorite Disney movies would be the Toy Story trilogy. I just adore them. But as far as characters, I grew up all about, excuse me guys, the Looney Tunes. So I have Disney characters I really enjoy, but they were never like the big ones to me. Now, if you talk about going to Disney World, I love interacting with the characters. The cast members are so good at what they do. They make it so much fun. And even more than interacting with them myself, I just enjoy watching the kids interact with them. And I do go down and hit on Drazilla every chance I get. She's one of the evil stepsisters. I'll post a video about it soon. I have some video footage of me hitting on her while we're at dinner. So that's what we got to do. I got to pick up my fast passes while I'm down there. So I was going to let you guys do that along with me. The stream started a little late because for some reason, all of a sudden my software won't pick up my phone screen on the computer. Why, I couldn't tell you. I've got to work with that. But that's how I was going to do it. I was going to do it right through the app, but I'll have to do it in a browser window instead, since that's not working. Let's see. Class Lucia, Madara versus Itachi, please. That's topical. That makes some sense to what we're talking about here. Sure. Okay. What about a video with your favorite cheap and tasty Disney? That's a good idea. That's a really good idea, Milag. I can do that right off the top of my head. I can think of the ones I would like. And I'll be doing videos leading into it, too, explaining to you guys how to save money on your trips as far as things like snacks and stuff. Disney gives you a lot of little perks as long as you pay attention, you know, if you're really into it and watching for them. There's a lot of ways to save some money. Moonshine Girl said, I'm going to beg my boyfriend to take me in March. I don't care. He has to. Cheyenne says, DC has enough goofies to go around. You can go see them all in Congress when you tour the Capitol. Yeah. Or in Georgetown's administration. I got to tell you, though, Cheyenne, the big difference is, like, you know, when you go down to Disney World and you see Goofy, it makes me happy. You have a good time. Hey, play with the kids. Goofy. When I see him in DC, that just makes me angry. And you're right, there's way more of them. Wolverine down with Disney, all hell Compton. Stop it. We never go down with Disney. You're going to Disneyland later, Glenn? She's never been. We're going to the Nightmare Before Christmas ride after it's changed from the Haunted Mansion. Yeah, they're changing that in Disneyland, but not Disney World. Disney World is going to remain Haunted Mansion, but I heard that would be one reason for me to want to try out Disneyland. I'd like to see the theming of that, because I love the Haunted Mansion ride anyway, and I'd love to see the theming of that. That's something that could someday get me there. Oh, hell, 4Kids. Yeah, let 4Kids get a hold of some Disney properties. Let's see. Hey, Curtis, a great attraction would be one of those 4D, 5D interactive theaters. Play says, with the premise you're fighting the pain's almighty push. Let's see. Oh, at Naruto. I love Liberty Square. Oh, me too. Oh, and loves the World Showcase. So do I. The World Showcase at Epcot is just so much fun. I'll definitely live stream while I'm in Epcot. All right, well, let's start trying to figure some of this stuff out. Let me put up here. Let me put up this screen. Okay, now how am I gonna do this? I wanna be able to still see you guys' chat and everything, but yet work with that screen. You know what? Let me pull up you guys' chat on my phone. That'll probably be the easiest thing. And then while we're Tower of Terror is awesome, Wolverine. I love that ride. Let me see. Where am I here? Okay, my channel. I didn't figure this out. All right. Now let me get you guys' all right, now I've got you guys' chat right in front of me now. Now, is this... Why does it... Okay, live chat, top chat. Okay, we got it. Let me go over to this page now. Pull this over here with me. All right, FastPass Plus, get started. Now, I don't... FastPass Party of One. That's kind of... Isn't that kind of sad? Just a sad thing to say. FastPass Party of One. All right, it's just me this time, though. So, I will be there... Well, I'm getting late on the 24th, so I won't even be in the parks. Now, on Wednesday the 27th, that's when I'll be doing the after hours party at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Animal Kingdom Park. So, hopefully we'll be doing those rides that night. So, I don't have to really worry too much about getting fast passes for them. The first day there, I'll probably pop into Magic Kingdom, you think, guys? Well, put it this way. Let me watch the chat for a second here and see which parks would you guys be most interested in. There's Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom. Just out of curiosity, which parks would you guys be most interested in seeing? Dollywood. I've heard a lot about Dollywood, Jeff, but I've obviously never been. But I want to see Star Wars Land. Not until it's 2019 now. Late this year that opens, Licks. I can't wait. Animal Kingdom? Okay, Animal Kingdom will definitely live stream from there while I'm down there, Dino, because I'm going to do that after hours party. Are you going to Universal? Universal's a lot of fun. It doesn't have Magic Kingdom. It doesn't have I don't think Universal even tries to. It doesn't have the feel Doesn't have the immersiveness of Disney World, but the rides are fantastic. I remember going down the Yeti ride in Disney World, and after I got off, the first time I cried. It's a pretty good ride. I like that one. I like that one. Your name sounds Mukayas? Mukayas? Mukayas. And again, you guys know my Expedition Everest. That's a pretty good coaster. I like it. And everybody freaks out when it goes backwards. My grandma says I have holes in my pockets and can't handle my money to go to Disney. Aw. Well, trust me, that's just the all the years that we've been going. I've had to shore up the holes in my pockets because it is expensive. That's why I was working always 2 and 3 jobs just to pay for our Disney trips. Let's see. Just got off work. How's your mom? She's best pay. She's doing pretty good. She has some days are better than others. Wolverine, with the memory. But, it's here and there. All right, well, let's see. Let's say, I definitely want to take you guys around Epcot. See, I want you guys to see all the parks. Maybe I'll split the day. But if I start on the 25th, let's start on the 25th and see what's available at Magic Kingdom. Now, the good thing is, going solo, you get opportunities for a lot more fast passes than you will going with any number of people other than one. Oh, I can go on Dumbo the Flying Elephant, you guys. Or I can see Enchanted Tales with Belle. Haunted Mansion, that's a great one. Haunted Mansion, something I should have you guys see. Let's see. You know what? It might even be better. The more I think about it, Magic Kingdom is a great place for shooting footage, and I'm going to be there getting a lot. But as far as the rides that would be fun for you guys to see, you'd probably be better off in Hollywood Studios. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Alex. Let's all right, hold on. Let me go back one. Let me go back one and let's try at Hollywood Studios and see what we get. All right, Alien Swirling Saucers. Wow, you can even get. I'm surprised. Toy Story Mania you can get in the afternoon. Whew. It's unusual to be able to even get those. Well, Toy Story Mania we definitely should do. Let's grab that one. And we'll confirm that. Toy Story Mania, for those who don't know, it's like riding through a video game. You go through this 3D game, and you got your little space gun there that has a trigger that you pull. It's a string that you pull as the trigger. And you're basically just trying to outscore the people in the other cars. So let's put that one in. Yeah, I'm curious what with the the Chinese Theater, I think, Jamie, is going to become that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway or whatever that ride is called. I'm pretty sure that's what's going there. Now, let's see. How about we could do Rock and Roller Coaster early. Oh, Star Tours is awesome. Twilight Zone Tower of Terror we can do early. Let's do Tower of Terror nice and early because I got to take you guys on that. Let's confirm that one. My favorite ride, Pineapple Dino, is definitely Flight of the Avatar. That's just crazy. Okay, continue. The pic I sent, Wolverine, I don't have it handy. I didn't download it to my hard drive. It's in my email, but I haven't downloaded it yet to have it handy to put up on the stream. All right, let's see. And let's see what else I can get that day. Now, do they... Oh, yeah, they do. They still allow me to get more. All right, so we had 9 o'clock for Tower of Terror. Let's do Rock and Roller Coaster at 10. All right, so now we'll have... Now, on the 26th, we'll go to Epcot. What do you guys think here? What? Why Disneyland not something else? Avatar is a really good Swedish. Actually, though, as I do this, I'm thinking, would it probably probably be better. Let me go back just because of the nature of trying to watch the chat at the same time. What I'll do is I'll come back through. I'll finish this later. I'll make a video of it. Let me just make a rather than doing a live stream. I'll make a video picking the rides that we're going to go on and stuff like that. I think that'll work better. Just because again, we're trying to watch the chat and we're chatting about several different topics at the same time. That'll probably work out better. Why don't I do that? That would have made more sense. Yeah, the Chinese theater into Runaway. I feel this. I like the Avatar stuff though, Jamie. I know you're right. It wasn't a Disney property from the start, but boy, the ride itself, that Flight of the Banshee ride, is just it's beyond description. I think it truly is. Yeah, I heard about Hulk Hogan biopic starring Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is jacked. He's not nearly as, I don't know if they're going to put him on juice or what, because he's not nearly as thick and big as Hogan. But it would be hard, honestly, to find somebody, because Hogan in his day particularly was pretty jacked up. No Jews allowed in Disneyland. the haunting remnants of Walt. Let's see. Avatar is Disney. Yeah, looks they own a lot of shit now. Well, Avatar Land at Disney World, and I'll be live streaming that for you guys when I get down there. It's pretty exceptional, especially at night. That's one of the reasons I like the fact that I'm going to be going to that after hours thing at Disney, because it looks insane at night. It's really, really well put together. It's so cool. I look like a retired biker. I've never been a biker. I've never been into motorcycles. Never been into motorcycles at all. I think I look more like a retired wrestler. Overlord's fantastic. Broly TV. Overlord is insanely good. I just the episode I watched today hasn't gone up at the Goose yet. The episode I watched today was sick, where those Yazoos were coming into the tomb and we're gonna pillage it for all its goods. And it was funny just watching the individual groups getting swatted down by Ainz and company. Oh, that was so cool. Brother E says Disney should make a High School DxD world in one of their parks. Actually, Brother E, they used to, and it's gone now, in Hollywood Studios, they used to have a whole show of High School DxD. The stage would actually come, it was like several times a day. The stage would wheel out into the whole center area where the big hat used to be. Well, this hat that's right behind me here. This right there. The big hat used to be. They used to wheel out the stage, and they would do a whole High School DxD production there. You know, the singing, the dancing, the whole nines. Oh, what is my funniest memory of what Moonshine Girl from Disney? Oh, I got a lot of great. We've had a lot of great experiences at Disney. I'm going to be talking about some of those in videos. I'll be as a matter of fact. Excuse me. I'm going to, when I make some more videos, I want to make a video about, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where you can take the little girls down there and get them all dressed up as princesses. And I've got a lot of really good footage of my granddaughter doing that. So I thought that's a good one to make, to explain to people, well, not only what it is, and a lot of people ask if it's worth it, and explain exactly what you get in value for your money and whether or not they think it's worth it. I got a lot of stuff coming up. I want to post the video when I was hitting on one of the evil stepsisters, because I tried to pry her with a ring and everything. Yeah. Let's see. I used to watch the Godzilla movies when I was a kid, Alex. I wouldn't say I have a specific one that's a favorite, but I used to watch them all. Let's see. Oh, thanks. That thumbnail. Hey, Steven. When the anti-vax kid starts acting up so you sneeze right in his face, I attack your life points directly, Glenn Aker says. Did I seduce Dumbo? Nah, he's kind of out of my league. I would try, but he's just, you know, I'm not playing. I'm not at that level yet. Yeah, I see we're almost at 200,000. Yeah, I see that. Does anyone else remember Mickey's House of Mouse? I'm trying to remember, Cheyenne. Now, is this something that was on TV? Or was it an attraction? House of Mouse. It's not striking a chord with me. Do I know D-Way? No, I don't. Unfortunately, I do not know D-Way. Why do you love Disney? There is no my hair guy. The my hair guy would fit in there perfectly, though. I think he would be a great Disney character. Oh, I thought you were talking about High School Musical, Brother E. They should have, a High School DxD Land would be better yet. Absolutely better yet. Oh, okay. It was like a show or a Disney short movie. I have the VHS. I don't remember that one then. Surprisingly, yeah, I don't remember that. I remember of course, the Mickey Mouse Club, and I go way back to the days of when it was in black and white. Jamie says, one thing that makes me sad about My Dear Epcot is not the prototype community that Walt envisioned. No, it is not. But I love the is it on? I think it's on the People Mover. I think that's where it is, where you can see the model of what Walt had envisioned for Epcot, and it's really, really cool. When you see what Walt Disney's initial idea for the Epcot park, or for Epcot in general, was, it's really neat. You loved House of Mouse. It was on TV in 2000. Oh, okay, see, I don't remember that at all. Should have become a real nightclub. I'm surprised they never thought. They took away a lot of the, like, nightclub and even kids' nightclub activity in, well, was Downtown Disney, now Disney Springs. That's true. Yeah, they don't really have anything down there anymore like that, and that would have been cool. Lude says, that's actually a crueler reaction than I expected when it comes to the adventures going into the tomb. These episodes, specifically the next one, are the ones that made people's opinions on Einstein. See, now that's where, of course, that's where I think, Lude, and I even ask about it in the reaction video, what other people's opinions are, because I can only judge by my own thoughts and thought processes. I had no attachment to those people going into his tomb, so I was like, let them have it. and I was enjoying it. Now, I haven't seen, they let up, you got those 4 adventurers that Ainz just encountered. Now, I haven't seen what he does yet. As we were talking, that'll be tomorrow's episode. But will it make me think ill of Ainz? Probably not. You guys, you know me. I'm different. Not always in the good way. House of Mouse was pretty neat. Big Green remembers it too. Share nightclub activity for kids. Yeah, they used to have stuff like that, Joe. They would have, little clubs that were designed specifically for the kids, with different snacks and treats and all kinds of bubblegum music and everything. Tomorrow's my last day as a child. Poppy says, let's break out the classic children's shows. That's right, Poppy, you're going to be 18. That's right, I forgot about that. Drunk father who wants to make you a real man. It's greater than Mickey Mouse, greater than Goku, greater than Superman. What are your thoughts about the next ad apocalypse? I think that Ginger Kid that started it all is a douchebag. That's what I honestly think. Because, again, okay, he could have easily pointed out, in fairness to YouTube, they do the best they can policing whatever they can. Now, what he found with those absolute dirtbag pedophiles exchanging information in the comments could have been reported, and I have no doubt YouTube would have taken care of it. That stuff they're pretty good at. He wanted to take the next step and be the Avenger and go through and try and get advertisers to stop advertising because of what he found on YouTube. And he's just a douchebag who wanted more attention. And the problem with it is advertisers buy into that crap because everybody's so afraid of getting a Twitter mob after them or something if they don't act right away, instead of just saying, okay, well, we talked to YouTube and they're taking care of it, which is what an advertiser should say. They should have contacted YouTube immediately and asked them about it. YouTube would have reassured them that it's being handled and everything would have been fine. But instead, people, oh, well, I'm Nestle and look at me. I'm taking a stand. I'm not going to advertise here because that, some objectionable content slipped through the cracks. And it's like, everybody's just looking for their 15 minutes. Cheyenne says, happened just now. My Jewish friend to a guy. I want to get tattoos, but then I can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. Dude, aren't they all tattooed? Oh, 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 that's oh, that's awful. Oh, I never thought about that, and that's true with the Jews, and not putting the markings on the body. But what about the numbers? Yeah. Brother E, imagine Akano and Rios walking around the park with Mickey ears strapped around their boobs. Let's see. Oh, that Smollett dipshit. Yeah, Alex, he's just. My thoughts are pretty much what everybody else's are. What an idiot! I mean, what a complete and absolute moron. For those of you who don't know, this guy who's on a show I don't watch on Fox, I've forgotten the name of it. But anyway, he's apparently what's all coming out now. Well, he staged an attack on himself. He wanted to sit, and he said it was motivated by Trump supporters in red MAGA hats, and they shouted racial slurs at him and slurs about his sexuality and beat him up. Well, it was all a setup. He was apparently, the Chicago PD is now saying that he was upset that he wasn't making enough money on his show. He was only getting $65,000 an episode. And also being alleged, and looking more and more like it might be the case, is that he had also sent himself a threatening letter with white powder inside that was supposed to be a toxin. I think the kid should go to prison. That's what I think. I should go to prison for a decent amount of time. I mean, it's just ridiculous to waste that much time and energy of law enforcement and just try and stoke divisions more to try and get a little attention for yourself. I put him right in the same category with the ginger kid with the whole thing with the ads. Same idea. Just useless, life's loser morons who are looking for some attention. Oh, Wolverine. A barcode is basically an Ethiopian family picture. That's just wrong. Brother E, where would I rank Overlord in anime? Well, I'm not done with it yet. And from what I understand, there's a lot of good things to come up. At this point, is it better than FMAB? I wouldn't put it above it yet. But again, I'm not done. So, I want to see more of what goes on in this season. My favorite wrestler, Broly TV, was, well, I'm old, so growing up, it was always Bruno Sammartino. Of the more current crew, I had always liked Mark Calloway, The Undertaker. I just think he did everything well. He had a great gimmick, phenomenal athlete. Everything about Calloway was awesome. But I was a Bruno Sammartino fan from the time I was a little kid. The Mickey Mouse... Yes, yeah, the Mickey Mouse Club. That's what I was talking about, Patrick. I was talking about that earlier. Yeah, I remember the Mickey Mouse Club back from the days. Again, it was in black and white, and it was... I can't remember. Oh, that... What's her name? Annette Funicello was in it and everything. Yeah, I go, unfortunately, way, way back. Then when I thought about just Carrie's bleaching a noose at -20 in Chicago, right, Glenn? The whole thing with that Smollett dude, is just he's just pathetic. It just, again, another pathetic loser looking for attention. Kid who made a video on torturing and killing his cat. And no, I didn't hear about that one. That's messed up. No, I didn't hear about that at all. Fake Moan. Hey, Curtis, you going to watch Boruto at all? Probably not for a long, long time, if at all, because everything we watch now, we put up to a vote at the Goosh. And then some of the series, obviously, come over to YouTube. But everything is initially started with a vote at the Goosh. And we've got quite a number of Gooshers in here now. I think they'll back me up in saying that there's not going to be support for watching Boruto for a really long time. And there's Cesaro. And no Boruto. Yeah, I can't imagine Boruto winning a poll or even getting put into a poll through the nominations for quite some time. Why would you hurt Curtis in that way, Glenn says. Jamie's on board too. What I think of the Vic situation, I haven't seen any evidence of his wrongdoing yet. I mean, I would, as I've said, just from what I read about him, see about him, video I watch of him and stuff, I think the guy can probably be a dick, but I haven't seen anything to make me believe that he's done anything horrific to anyone. Now, that's not saying it didn't happen. I just haven't seen any evidence of it. I mean, you got that one Yazoo complaining that he sexually assaulted him because Vic got on his shoulders. He said he was grinding his junk into my neck. He's like, no, he wasn't, dude. He was sitting on your shoulders. I mean, people are just so far gone, just looking for any reason to be a victim. Yeah, he raped that neck, though. I mean, that was just bizarre, Joe. I just become more and more disgusted with people, things like the Smollett and everything, and this ginger dipshit from YouTube with his wanting to report to all the advertisers that somebody had slipped through the cracks at YouTube. I mean, they're so pathetic. They're really, really pathetic. I've heard that one before, Patrick. David Bowie's last hit, probably heroin, yeah. Well, that's the thing. M says, I don't think people understand what sexual harassment is these days. I agree with you. Because especially in that Smollett's a perfect example of it, we have a society that's all about wanting to be victims. I mean, victimhood is basically glorified now. So, anything they'll try and construe anything to be sexually aggressive or somehow they got victimized. Let's see. We're in favor of countless DNA evidence. Oh. A 9-year-old girl? Oh, I didn't hear about that, Brother E. Oh, jeez. Victims. Big Green says, the abridged dude? I'm the abridged dude, so I need help from you, man. I just want to be a better person for you two, so please help. I have no idea what you're talking about, abridged dude. No idea. Wolverine says, check glass post? Vic spanked my ass hard. To be fair, I was being a naughty boy, and I asked for it. Jamie says, what sickens me is that the Me Too movement is now suddenly such a concern, yet they ignore all the nasty pedophiles and child trafficking issues. People don't get that all of it is terrible. And, and that's how we do a lot of things in America. We pick a part of an issue that we want to make the center issue. It's just like gun control. No matter which side of the issue you're on, every time there's a shooting or something along those lines, because the debate started, the only thing people want to talk about is, can we legislate against guns? I'm not saying you can't have that conversation, but why is nobody up in arms about the fact that, especially with school shootings, that children are shooting other children? Regardless of what they use, they're killing other kids. Regardless of the tool they used, there's a problem there. That goes beyond the gun. It goes beyond the tool. Why can't we figure out what's making kids? Because when I went to a very rural school, when I was a kid, there were guns everywhere. Most of the people were hunters. Any pickup truck that was in the parking lot had guns in the back. A lot of the cars did too. Hell, I can remember kids getting guns for Christmas or for their birthday or something, and they would bring them into school to show everybody. And nobody ever thought anything of it because nobody was going to shoot you with it. Everybody knew and understood guns, respected guns, and they'd be in the kids' locker all day. So and nobody was shooting each other. Why do we not look at why the violence is there more so than the tool they use to commit the act? But the news don't care less. It's an automatic. You're 100% right with that, Lex. You're right, because remember, since Florida, there was that other school shooting in Texas, and you hear nothing about it. Nothing, because he used a handgun and a shotgun. The weapons didn't fit what they want for their talking points, so they just dropped it. We still hear nonstop about what went on in Florida and never get a mention about the shooting in Texas because it doesn't fit the narrative. Americans are crazy for guns. Facts. Well, we have a society, Joe, that was built around guns. I mean, when you think about it, the country was founded, defended, and basically created through the power of guns, whereas over in Europe, you never had that background because you have such a longer history than do we. And it's just a part of the fabric of society. My big concern is, I'm not a big gun enthusiast, but my concern is it's not guns that are at the core of the problem. It's people. Why are so many people committing this violence against each other? Whether it's school shootings or inner city gang shootings that go on every day, you're not going to stop the violence, even if you could get rid of the guns. But that's not how violent people work. Or you think somebody's crazy enough, like in Vegas, to just open fire and shoot 60-some people at a concert? Do you honestly think if it was more difficult for him to find a gun, he would just go, oh, you know what, I'm going to be a normal citizen. We got to figure out what the hell's wrong with people. Movie reviews or food reviews? No, David, I like what we're doing. I like anime. Anime is my thing. Video games don't make me want to kill people in real life. Real life makes me want to kill people in video games. And that's well put, King of the JDs. That's well put. And yeah, and trying to blame it on video games is asinine. Because I can tell you, when I was a kid, the way we would play war and stuff out there, our imaginations were... A child's imagination running wild is every bit as violent as anything you see in a video game. But we knew the difference between make-believe and reality. If some people can't draw that delineation, that's not the fault of the video game itself. Let's see. Kevin, both arms put me down. Said it's dangerous down here. You could get hurt. Okay, Milog. People have been killing other people since caveman days. Right, Alex? Exactly. So that's what really bothers me. If you want to have the gun control debate, that's fine. But that seems to be where it ends. And it's like, even if you made guns illegal tomorrow, it's not going to stop it. There's something wrong with people. That's what doesn't get addressed because, again, it doesn't fit the political narrative. No Democrat feels that they're going to get elected to the office they want because they made some serious inroads in mental health care. It's not a big enough ticket item. If you make some serious inroads into gun control, you might get elected. I would enter a fight because who would hit a ginger with disabilities? That would be sick. Even in the UK, where I live in London, we have a serious knife problem. So even without guns, there will always be violence. That's what I'm hearing, Poseidon. And again, I never, our media is so unreliable here, our news media. But that's what I've been hearing, that there's a lot of issues in the UK with knife violence. And again, you never know to what extent or anything because our news media is such garbage that you don't know what's real and what isn't, what's exaggerated. But yeah, as somebody else pointed out, violence has always been a thing. People have always killed other people, and they will continue to do so. Especially with the school shootings, what we need to find out is why. Why are kids wanting to do that? Because believe me, when I was a kid, it would have been easy. There was no security in the schools, and there were guns everywhere. If somebody wanted to shoot us up, man, it was going to be a piece of cake. Agree that guns are not the cause, but Rook Barreau, okay? Your society is still gun crazy compared to the rest of the world. There are banks that give you free shotguns if you open a deposit or whatever, but schools need to fix their bullying push. Right, okay, Joe, but, and compared to the rest of the world, absolutely, we have a lot more guns per capita, and there's a lot more gun enthusiasts here. My response to that would be, so? Why we're not allowed to be gun enthusiasts? I'm not understanding. So I hear that sentiment a lot. It's like, so what? Anything could be. A car is dangerous if you misuse it. Ask the people in Nice, France, the 86 of them, or the families of the 86 people that are dead there, what they think about moving vans, because wasn't it or a truck that ran them all down? You can turn a lot of things into a weapon. The thing is, there's been a lot of cases, and I would never say this in a public forum of any sort, but you see these attacks with guns, and what a lot of people don't stop to think about is maybe sometimes the gun being so convenient could have potentially saved lives, because there's a lot of cases where guns are not an effective means for taking out a lot of people. I would never go into details, but your imaginations, I'm sure, can figure out what I'm talking about. There are way better ways to take a bunch of people out, especially in a crowded situation. Years ago that actually did happen. It hasn't happened that I know of in a long time, but I'm sure Joe heard of it because liberals will push that narrative. But yes, it has happened in the past. Just banks used to do a lot more giveaways, seems like, than they do now. Nobody gives anything away, but you open an account, you get this, you get that. There were times, again, a long time ago, where they had given away guns. I haven't heard of it in decades, but it had happened. You gotta go for an MRI? Well, good luck, Moonshine Girl. If it's possible to remove each and every object in the world, people would just punch and kick each other to death. Yeah, that's what I mean. And again, like Joe and I were just discussing it, absolutely America has more of an affinity towards guns than any place else in the world that I know of. But again, that's still a so what situation, so there's a lot of people here who are gun enthusiasts. And the thing of it is, I understand, especially guns are easier to kill with than anything else. Again, now I'm not going to go into details, but I disagree with you. Actually, now have you used the gun? First of all, it depends on the situation. But guns being easy to kill depends on your proficiency with the gun. I mean, again, it comes down to if I had to take my chances, say in a subway station or something like that, with somebody inexperienced with a gun or somebody really super experienced with a knife, I take the inexperienced guy with the gun. I would, every time. You can, if you're good with a weapon, you can do a lot of damage. I agree that bullying, Jamie says, is the major cause of pushing kids to the brink. I almost gave in to the bullying, almost did something I regret. My mom saw the warning signs and got me help. Yeah, that could be a lot of it. Bullying could be a part of it. I mean, we did have, certainly back in my day too, there was plenty of bullying. And back then, which makes me wonder again why it's become such a trigger, because back then, at least now, most schools, if you're being bullied, you like to think that the school will step in on their behalf with all, as much of an issue as it's become. But back when I was a kid, if you were bullied, it was just like, you know what? Bullies are really cowards at heart. Just stand up to them. And then, you'd see the kid go stand up to them and get punched in the face again. And the adults would be like, oh, well, why don't you take some boxing lessons or something? That's how they handled bullying back in my day. Yeah, I saw that one, Milag. I was just reading that one back. Yeah, if you never shot a gun before, it's obviously more difficult. Yeah, guns, I mean, a lot of people, and again, it's just because a lot of people have never used them, but a lot of people think that shooting a gun and killing somebody with it's an easy thing to do. Now, I mean, if you're standing next to someone, you pull a gun on them and put it in their ribs, okay, that's one thing. But shooting a gun is a talent in itself. As I said, in a confined area, if I have to deal with an inexperienced person with a gun or an experienced person with a knife, I'll take the guy with a gun every day, because you can kill people that know what they're doing with a blade. Can do a lot of damage in a hurry. Let's see. You're talking to Lud. I'm not a big gun enthusiast, M says. I don't care for them, but don't mind considering I've grown up in a state where everyone has them. I do know how many irresponsible people have them, which makes me uneasy. Yeah, see now, where I am currently, because I'm in a very rural area, pretty much everybody has guns. I can't say that it makes me uneasy. I know a lot of people, I mean, we got some real hillbilly folk here and stuff, but there's never been I've never seen anything looting that makes me think that we're in any more danger. Put it this way, I know statistically, I'm a lot safer here than I am in an inner city where there are gun laws. Put it that way, because they have guns, but there isn't as much penchant for violence here. And if it's an experienced person with a gun and an experienced person with a knife, that argument doesn't make sense. Okay, Jack Queen, now you lost me. That's what I'm saying is that had absolutely nothing what to do with what I said. I said in a situation where the person is inexperienced with a gun, my point was that to use a gun effectively, you have to have experience with it. I'm not sure of the point you're trying to make. That if they're both experienced, you think the tide changes. It very well may, but that had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with what the point I was making with it. What do you get in a bag of 2019? Kids, Florida, Disney, and guns. Let's see. Oh, thanks. Dom Bomb Gaming. What do you think of white privilege? That's an interesting one, Alex. I think it exists, but I don't think it exists to the level that I think, put it this way, I think it situationally exists, but it doesn't exist to the level that some people would like us to believe. And by that, all I mean is there are certain situations where I think being white is an advantage, and there are definitely certain situations where being white might get you put under less scrutiny. But as far as in day-to-day life and the ability to overcome where you come from and become a success, I don't think white privilege is much of a factor at all. And that's, I mean, whatever I've had, wherever I've gotten in my life, my family had no money. I mean, we had absolutely nothing. And I've always been middle class and very happy and had to work 2 and 3 jobs to be able to take Disney trips and stuff like that. But you get out there and grind. I don't see anybody, there's nobody in this nation, no matter where you're from, inner city, rural, whatever, that can't live the life I've led, and I've led a very happy life. There's nobody keeping somebody down. I started by working at McDonald's, found better paying jobs as I went to school for journalism, got a job at a newspaper, decided I hated writing for newspapers, went into the blue collar world, and was happy there my whole life. So my whiteness got me none of that. There's nothing in there that somebody of any color couldn't have accomplished as well. So what I'm saying is, are there situations where white privilege is a thing? Sure. Is it rampant in society and keeping people down? No. And that's what Shane's saying. Being black and coming from South Carolina, I can tell you white privilege really isn't a factor. Not in day-to-day life. I think we're in agreement, Shane. Not in day-to-day life. You know, again, the color of my skin versus the color of your skin, at least in my life experiences, would have made no difference. I could have done all the same things regardless of my color, and it was just a matter of working hard to get what I want. Now it says, I agree that we need to find out why gun violence happens, but if guns made America safer, there wouldn't be a gun violence problem. Okay, but if guns made America safer, there wouldn't be a gun violence problem. You can't. That's impossible to say, Niall. What you said doesn't make any cohesive sense if you look at it from a logic standpoint, because there are guns in America. So you can't say that there wouldn't be more violence if there weren't guns in America, because you don't know. In other words, you can make that assessment all day long, but it's taken a stance that you feel is right, but you have no actual statistical bearings. Okay, so now what you're saying, gun violence, but if guns made America safer, there wouldn't be a gun violence problem. So if you're saying, let's say that tomorrow guns were illegal, your stance is then there wouldn't be the gun violence problem wouldn't be as big, because us having guns isn't stopping the violence. You can make guns illegal tomorrow. People are still going to have them. Drugs are illegal. There's tons of things that are illegal. Everybody has no problem getting. It'll just increase in the black market. So now you've made even more people potential victims. So you can't say that because guns are legal, there wouldn't be more of a problem. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. There's no way to say it because you don't know, because we do have guns. It wouldn't bother me at all if we didn't have guns or if they passed stricter laws. And no, I'm not a liberal. I get tired of hearing from pro-gun advocates when I say that I just don't care. I'm not necessarily against all. See, the biggest issue I have with laws regarding guns is not the laws in and of themselves. It's that I think that there's a sector of society that is totally misrepresenting how they feel, and you see it every so often. They slip. Whereas they say, well, we just want this common sense law. And on the surface, it makes sense, and I back it. But it's like, okay, we just want this common sense law, and I can see what the next step is. And when that common sense law didn't stop the shootings, well, you know what? We need to just go, now we need to go just a little further. You can see what they're up against. As far as the actual laws, background checks, stuff like that, I have no issue with that in and of themselves. It's what I think they're trying to accomplish eventually that I have an issue with. Let's see. Removing guns for 350 million people would be a problem. That's why liberals are idiots. Problem is the arguments of the other side are also stupid. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Jack Queen, if you tried to remove if the government tried to remove people's guns right now, and again, I live in an area where I can guarantee you this is the case. If guns were to be made out illegal tomorrow, there would be blood in the streets. There's no question. I know too many gun enthusiasts that would absolutely go violent to ensure that that didn't happen. You would have a civil war, and then it would just be a case of, because people say that all the time, and they say, "Well, go ahead, let's see how you do when we bring in the nukes," or something ridiculous like that. Listen, you're probably the anti-gun people or the pro-gun control people probably aren't going to like the way the military swings on that. They're not robots, and if you have that kind of disruption in our society, if you have that kind of conflict, it's all, as far as the military goes, it's going to be where those guys and girls, whatever side of the line they fall on, is who they'll support. And if you were to take a survey of military people, I don't think the gun control advocates would like how the numbers fleshed out. But yes, you're not going to take guns away from Americans. Put it this way, you're not going to take guns away from Americans and in a year have this society even look remotely like it had before, because it would change everything. Disney's one of my favorite companies of all time. Yeah, Demetrius, I'm a Disney fanatic. I am perfectly well aware of their scars, of their warts. But yes, I'm a gun. I'm a Disney nut, though. We should have Curtis react to SJW videos about gun laws. Give the channel boost and ratings. No, not when YouTube just gets rid of the videos because they don't like anybody to have a differing opinion than theirs, Brother E. But I've seen most of those. The funniest ones are, and this holds true with anybody. I won't just pigeonhole the SJWs here. Anytime somebody's protesting something and has no idea what they're talking about, that drives me nuts. And that gets pointed out all the time. You'll see the anti-gun people out there protesting away, and when they ask them, well, we want assault weapons to be gone. Well, what's an assault weapon? Because, if I stab you with this pen, that's an assault pen then, because I used it to assault you. So be more specific. Which guns are assault weapons? Well, the automatic ones. Well, the automatic ones virtually are illegal. I mean, it is possible to get an automatic weapon, but the process you would have to go through and qualify for is such a minute number of Americans, it's a non-factor. Well, what about those ARs? Sure, okay, so the AR-15's got to go? Yes. Do you realize that there are hunting guns that do the exact same thing? They're semi-automatic weapons. They're all that happens with the AR is it looks really nasty because it looks military-ish. And they have no idea. The thing, I don't care. Anybody can and has the right to protest anything they want. Just at least arm yourself with knowledge about what you're talking about. Either side. Just know what you're talking about, because it really weakens your case when somebody can ask you questions about it and you have no idea what you're talking about. Take cheeseburgers away from Americans. Hey, Alex, that's not funny. Well, not cheeseburgers. Screw cheese. I hate cheese. You can't take hamburgers away. That's when I get into the street and get violent. But if you think about it, the Green New Deal there almost alludes to that, because they got to get rid of the cows because cow flatulence is making the planet hot. So taking cheeseburgers away from Americans is actually something that's politically an issue right now. Chrome says, seriously, there will be no violence. Get rid of guns who use knives, trucks, acid, like here in the UK. Yep. Also, we're starting to be able to print guns now, even if they're one-time use. Yeah. You can't. We have a violence problem, and we have a societal issue more than a gun issue. And again, this is just, the gun violence is a means to an end for people that didn't want guns in the society in the first place. I am a big believer in guns in the respect that, excuse me, with as tenuous as life is on this planet in general, you never know what could happen within our own country and within our own government. You never know what could happen as far as an attack from another nation. I think can be advantageous having the most well-armed populace. And I don't think that you take that away because some people use those tools to be destructive. The UK, you need a license to have a gun, and they check if you committed a crime. So what do you think? Yeah, Meerkat Cage. The handguns, you already have to do that here. Again, that's a common misconception. You have to go through a whole background check. Yes, and felons can't have them. If you committed certain crimes, you can't have guns. Rifles you can have because they're considered hunting, but now there are more and more state laws being implemented to where you can't have any firearm at all if you have certain things in your background, which I don't have a problem with that. But as there is a common misconception around the world that guns are just willy-nilly in America. You know, you walk into the sporting goods store, you go, hey, give me that 357 and give me that 9mm, and they just hand it to you, and that's not how it works. It used to be. When I lived in New Mexico, it would have been the 70s, mid to late 70s, down there you could walk into the gun store, the sporting goods store, and buy a handgun. Just say, hey, give me that 357, and you leave with it. But that's been decades ago. That's not the case. In the UK, Chrome says you can't have a knife with you when you go outside. Really want that? Blades over 6 inches banned, destroyed as well. I heard something about that. And again, that's another case of you're trying to regulate or you're trying to stop people being violent by taking away the tools. And that's never going to work because people are not going to stop being violent. In Texas, they probably have guns and vending machines. Like I say, Don Baum, there was a time, and I've lived through it, where you weren't far from the truth. And it's not that to those extremes anymore. It hasn't been for several decades now. What is the gun? I was in America right now. I'm not sure what you mean. Taya? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you're asking. My favorite state to live in? Alex, if it weren't for my grandkids being here in New York, I probably would have already moved to North Carolina. I really enjoy North Carolina. The weather's good for me. I have family down there. But my wife and I don't want to leave the grandkids, and my daughter and son-in-law have built a house here and got so if it weren't for that, I would probably be either living in North Carolina now or be moving there right when Brax finishes college. Let's see. M says, aren't you guys not allowed to have plastic knives? How do we get from Mickey to M15, Mickey Mouse speaker? I know, Chrome, we really covered a range of topics today, didn't we? I'll be honest, I have no ducking clue what I'm talking about. I just want to kill people. Rick says. But that's been, I think that's what's surprised me the most when we talk about the whole gun violence issue, and particularly the school shootings, is, again, just knowing my own upbringing and how guns were everywhere and it never happened. That's what really gets me wondering, what happened to society? What made kids want to start killing other kids? It boggles my mind. Let's see. This can't be solved in one day. It takes years, Joe says. Banning guns is stupid. One, they have to make the access to them way more difficult. They need to stop glorifying shooters in the media. I agree with two completely. Stopping negligent parents, negligent teachers, and fight bullying. Yeah, a big part of the issue has to start within the homes. I mean, the one thing, you guys know me, because you almost sound like you're a religious sort when you go off this direction. You guys know better than anybody. One thing I'm not is religious. But there is a whole different dynamic, largely, to the household nowadays than there was back when we were kids. I mean, parents were more involved, I think, than they are now. And I think that's a lot of our issues right there. It's not just the bullying in school. It's that there might be bullying in school and then the kids have no one to turn to. And that, I think, is particularly in the inner cities, there is a statistical breakdown of basic family structure, and I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I think that's the biggest key in at least curbing this stem of gun violence but I don't know, how do you go about that? You can't legislate, you can't mandate that people provide a good, caring, nurturing environment for their children, so I don't know exactly how you do that. I know, Jack Queen. This really turned in a direction. What I'll probably do is, again, the Disney stuff I'll put more in videos and less in live streams. I think it works better that way, except when I'm in Disney. and I will be in about a month, and then I'll do lots of streams from down there. As a matter of fact, because I'm going to Disney, I bought some new equipment for live streaming, so I'm gonna hopefully get some days where it's at least halfway warm out. We will be doing some live streams. I don't even know where, but I'm gonna go somewhere and live stream remotely, so you guys can let me know how the new stuff is working. I don't want to get down to Disney and find out that it's not working right. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll go to the mall or something. You guys want to do something like that? Let's see. Too many kids are narcissists now, Chrome says. Something wrong in your life? Girls don't like you? Well, then it's time to mount the bell tower and get that high score. Yeah, I think that's not untrue, Chrome. And again, I think a lot of it relates back to that. There's just a lot more kids that don't have a strong family structure. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not glorifying the old days, but there was generally better familial values. The other side of the coin is a lot of kids were getting beaten by parents and stuff like that. And back then, it was just kind of, if you went into school and told the counselor about it or something, they'd be like, well, what can you do to be better? Try not to make dad mad. That type of thing. So the old days were fucked up too. They really were. And same thing with women. Women would get abused all the time, and it'd just be like, well, don't trigger him. Don't make him angry. So I'm not trying to glorify what things were in the old days, but kids generally had a better familial base back then. We need to prevent idiots from procreating. That would be that could potentially solve it all, Joe. You are correct. I don't know how we go about that, but I agree with you completely. Jamie says, I don't want someone to tell me what sword I can have. I won't tell you what gun to have. Just be responsible. The tool isn't dangerous to the individual. I agree 100%. 100%. And see, one of the reasons I would be against any type of severe gun control is, again, you're taking away from people who are going to be responsible, which is, of course, 99.9% of people that have guns, because some people have decided to use that tool as the outlet for their violence is insane, because the crazy people and the violent people are just going to find a new tool. And again, there are better ones out there. Trust me, there are better ways. It was never more illustrated because, again, I never am one to give what the other options are. I think that's irresponsible to do. But then that whole thing in France happened, and I was like, well, unfortunately, some people are starting to catch on. We would breed smarter idiots, Luck and Duck Quack Quack says. The abridged dude. Well, good. I'm glad you're happy. I enjoy having you guys here. Patrick says, I'm the type of guy who would go to the mall on Sundays for the free samples in the food court. I would, accept. It's always, excuse me, sorry guys. It's always like the Chinese food places. It's always like the Asian food, the international foods, and I have boring taste. I don't like that stuff. I only want hamburgers and pizza. And the hamburgers and pizza joints were never the ones giving out the free samples, the jerks. Chrome says, I know Scotland has a severe problem with single-parent households. Oh, I didn't know that. That's why we have big gang issues, and the SNP government glorifies the idea of broken homes. Really? I wasn't aware of that, Chrome. Yeah, and that goes back to what I'm saying, too. I know the tough home life is a lot of the cause for all the gang violence we have here in the inner cities. And again, it's just, the reason I say I know is it's backed up statistically. When you see the statistics of how many families are quote-unquote broken homes, it's just wildly higher percentage than it is in rural areas. And it's just like where I live. There's little to no violence here, not just because people are less violent, but there is the factor that most people around here do have guns. Whether they're hunters, home security, whatever, the vast majority of people in my area have guns in their home. Is it really worth, if you think about it, is it really worth doing a home invasion when you know the odds are excellent that the person inside has a gun and they know the whole layout of their own house and you don't? If you do a home invasion here, the odds are really, really good you're going to die. It's really good. So, again, people can make the case, well, guns don't make anything safer. You don't know that. Because if all the homes here were not able to have guns, who knows who might be how many home invasions would be happening. You don't know because they are a deterrent. Jamie says, what's the obsession with New York, New Jersey people wanting to go to North Carolina? My dad, then sister, now you. I personally hated it. 2 hours to walk to a library, 2 hours driving off. Well, for me, Jamie, it's because, again, I have family down there. That's how I discovered it. But where my family is, just outside of the Charlotte area, I just really enjoy it. Because you've got Charlotte, you've got the big city influence, and you can still have the country style living or the more rural style living. And it's just the way, I'm just so sick of this. Like this morning, out there throwing salt on my ramp because everything's iced over again, and now we're going to get snow. And it's, I just get tired of that crap. But for me, too, the difference in housing, because I would really like, when my wife and I are trying to determine what to do, I'd like to buy another house for whatever years we have left, just because this house is really old, requires a lot of upkeep, and I don't feel like keeping doing it when I'm getting older. And it's too big. We don't need this much room as we did when we had all the kids living here. For what an average house costs here, you can buy a damn near mansion in those areas in North Carolina. Nice areas in North Carolina. So there's that too. Taxes are way, way, way lower there. But if you're in New York, taxes are lower everywhere unless you're thinking of going to California or Massachusetts. Oh, Nacho can't stay. Oh, well, thanks for popping in while you could, Nacho. All right, do you guys want the 57 people that are here? Let me ask you this, since we went off on this direction. Do you guys want the next live stream possibly tomorrow? We'll see how I do. I've still got a lot of editing to do and stuff, and I want to get some of the Gusha 100 videos up. Do you guys want me to do some Curtis 2020 live streams, which will be you can ask me questions about my 2020 presidential candidacy? So then we can go into gun control, we can go international, domestic, whatever you want. You guys want to do some of those? I don't know why people try to ban guns. People are already making their own guns. In fact, one guy made a homemade freaking railgun. Yeah, and Dom Bomb Gaming, that's going to get more and more easy all the time, too. It really is. Lex, yes. Cesaro, yes. Yes, Thomas. No for buy love. Sure for lewd. Curtis 2020, let me be your intern. Absolutely, Jamie. Sure. Okay, we'll do that. I'll try to remember that. The next stream will be, we'll do a whole series of them, Curtis 2020 streams. You guys got to promise me, though, those that you're of age to vote. You're going to write me in the election. I'll give you cookies. Can you do that? Is that against campaign law? Can I promise cookies to everybody who votes for me? Let's see, how many votes would I need probably to win? Like, voters come up probably about 60 million. Wow, how much does 60 million cookies cost? Anybody know? Will there be food? If so, yes. Yes, it's all right. Just the nothing show. I just could immediately, of course, after I set something up, my schedule changed and I couldn't keep that schedule anymore. Dibs on VP, Wolverine says. See, Big Chungus knows I want cookies. Jack, I can't vote there, but I can sex up those who can. I didn't try Kingdom Hearts yet, but I basically did through osmosis, Chrome, because when Brax was home for the weekend, for his birthday weekend, he played a ton of it, and I was sitting here watching him. So I didn't actually play it, but I've seen a lot of it already because I was sitting here with him while he was playing it. See, Jamie will help contribute cookies and cake. I haven't been to Europe, Sandro, and I would love to at some point. I haven't been out of North America. You know, I've seen I've been to most all of the states, and I've been to Mexico, been to Canada, but that's it. That's it. Curtis Wolby is your VP. You lose worse than McCain with Palin, Chrome says. Oh. Lou says it's all right as long as you give me money. Dibs on being Lewinsky. Well played, Joe. And look at the emojis with it too. Wolby as VP would probably cause the new shooting incident. When I came to Canada, I've been to Montreal twice and across onto the other side of the falls once. That's it. That's the thing that always struck me about Montreal, and this was years ago. I haven't been in probably a couple decades. The thing that always got me about Montreal is how freaking clean it was. It's such a clean city, or at least it was then. Who would be my VP and Secretary of State? I don't know, Jamie. That's all stuff we'd all have to work out together. I don't know. There are a lot of politicians on both sides of the aisle that I admire. that, for my candidacy being a complete noob, you got to have experienced people around you. I really like Nikki Haley a lot. I like, oh, now her name's gone right on my head. And again, you guys know me with names. Any type of nouns, the post-concussion's like, nope, you can't have it. But the rep from Minnesota who announced her candidacy the other day, one of you guys, I like her a lot. Everything I've read about her so far, really a fan of hers. Cruz New America sentences all SJWs to death. Yeah, you guys know I'm not a fan of social justice warriorism. The idea of social justice is perfect. It's just that, like everything else, they've taken it to extremes. What's her name, guys? Ben Shapiro. I like Ben Shapiro. I think he's a good dude. I don't agree with him on everything, nor do I agree with anybody on everything, but that's going to drive me nuts if I don't think of her name. Oh, gosh. Nowadays, people don't buy guns for self-defense, but to kill? I disagree with that, Big Chungus. I know lots and lots of people who have guns strictly for self-defense and have never even had a thought about killing anyone. The vast majority of people, and that's a misconception about people with guns too, aren't looking to shoot anybody. They just want to be safe. No, not Warren. Build a wall on both sides. We need to keep the snow gringos out too. Gone wants both borders locked down. The snow gringos, I like that. Let me look that up because it's going to drive me nuts. Let me just look. She's a Democratic candidate for president. If I just look up the list, her name will come back to me. I hate when candidates 2020. Let's see. The list of Democratic candidates. Well, come on, give me the list. Amy Klobuchar. That's what it is. Amy. From what I've seen, now again, I have to read up more on her, but from what I've seen about Amy so far, I kind of like her too. Seems to have a decent head on her shoulders. The only thing I worry about anybody from the Democratic side is I want to make sure that they cannot be too influenced by the extremists, because the extremists are making a real run in that party the same way that 15 years ago the Tea Partiers were making a run at the Republicans, and I don't like extremists. I think green screen is the way I like to party. The abridged dude says. Bless Susan. So I can't get reactions. I don't know, Sandra. Again, with any video, it's just whenever I can get to them. Do I think Trump will get a second term now? I think it all depends on who the Democrats put out there. If you put one of the hardcore socialists in there, I think Trump wins easy. I think Trump can't beat Biden. I think, again, Amy Klobuchar, I think when people got to know her, I think she could beat him. I don't think Kamala Harris can beat him, because I think she has her own party too fractured. Cory Booker, I think, would screw himself up on the campaign trail. Things like the Spartacus thing, I don't think Cory Booker can stay on point enough. The only one I see definitely taking him out, as far as I see it, is Biden. But he hasn't even officially announced his candidacy yet. Trump versus Oprah. I believe it or not, I think Trump would beat Oprah. Oprah would, get that initial push because she's Oprah and everything. But when you start breaking things down and she was put under scrutiny, I think Trump beats her. Quote you can hear. We got some bad hombres here. The bad hombres. Hey, Louis, good to see you again, pal. Hey, long time no see. Been in and out of hospital, leg and back. Oh, man. You still going back and forth here to Rochester? That sucks. And started football again. Oh, at least you got to start football. For those of you who don't remember, Louis, our friend from the UK, he's had some serious health issues with the bus accident and everything, and he's been back and forth right here to my state, to Rochester, going back and forth for operations, and I hope it all gets straightened out for you at some point. Nick says, I like Disneyland, the good shows. I don't know what the fuck they're doing now. Well, I think it's hit and miss, Nick. I mean, I think it's like anything else. I can't come down too hard on them for that. They put out a lot of stuff that I was like, about, but they're still putting out the good ones here and there too. Jamie, what are my thoughts on Bernie Sanders? Oh, I'm not a fan at all. I'm not a fan of socialism. They can call it democratic socialism. They can use any semantics they want. I think socialism is the most abysmal. Socialism / communism is the most abysmal form of government in the world. I just no use for them. I disagree. I think too many people on the right hate Obama too much to not vote for Trump if Biden runs. Also, Joe would get me too'd with constant child molestation and memes. Yeah, Joe will get hit with those creepy clips that are out there. But the thing of it is, and I'm not sticking up for them, don't get me wrong, because they're creepy. You can make the strong case, in fairness, so just to be fair to the guy, that he's just socially awkward, because it doesn't look necessarily like he's a pedo. It looks like he's very awkward and doesn't understand parameters sometimes. But I do think he could beat Trump. I'd be surprised if he couldn't. Now, there are others that could. This is just my opinion. Again, I don't. I think Kirsten Gillibrand, from my own state, New York, here is a joke. I don't have any use for her. I think she's, even as politicians go, she's one of the most wishy-washy people I've ever seen. I don't think she has an original idea in her head at all. And fortunately, she's getting next to zero support from the Democrats so far anyway. But I would hope that she would lose every state in the union. I mean, obviously California and New York are voting for Democrats no matter what. But any reasonable state in the union. Yeah, Jamie, there's no doubt Uncle Joe Biden looks creepy. No question. And that would probably be, you guys are right, in this day and age of memes, that would probably be what hurts him more than anything else. But I do think he could beat Trump. He's the only one I've seen so far that I think right now could beat Trump. Again, I think Amy Klobuchar, give her a chance. I think she might be able to get there. I think Bernie Sanders' poll numbers are going to go down severely now that he's the front runner, and that there'll be more attention paid to. Listen, there's old videotape of Bernie talking about how great communism is, and how we're so wrong for coming down against communists and stuff like that. It's all going to come out, and he's going to be done. Let's see. He wouldn't beat Hope he would recover by the push, Joe says. So what do you think about the relationship between U.S. and Russia, or should I say between Trump and Putin? The whole Trump-Putin thing, I think it's, I think there's no doubt that it's a little over-exaggerated. Do I think he's in his pocket? No, I don't think he's in his pocket. Do I think he doesn't know how to handle Putin? Yes. I think that much is true. And I don't like his chances in any type of confrontation with Putin, put it that way. There are people out there I think would handle it a lot better. I think the whole, again, you've got a liberal, I always point back to, the media hates being called fake news, this, that, or the other. And having been a journalist, having gone to school for journalism, the New York Times ran an opinion piece anonymously. To me, that is the ultimate crime. But it also points out how desperate the media is to get Trump. So given that, no, the Trump-Putin connection, I don't think is, and we'll find out because supposedly the Mueller report's coming out soon, is nearly as, that connection is as tight as everybody thinks. I don't think there's much of a connection there at all. I honestly don't think that the left is going to get what they want out of the Mueller report, which is why Congress is going to start their own investigation, because apparently these arrogant assholes think they can do a better job than somebody as insanely qualified and experienced as Robert Mueller. Let's see. Yeah, Alex says Bernie Sanders is just an old communist Jew, nothing special. Yeah, I'm not a Bernie fan at all. And again, I don't like the concept of socialism. And then you have people who are the faces of it, like Bernie Sanders and AOC, who I think is completely vapid. I think it amazes me that one of the big knocks against Trump is he's just not that bright. And that's absolutely true. He demonstrates that at times. So one of your new faces of the Democratic Party is one of the only people I've seen in politics who I honestly think is dumber than him, that AOC. So I don't know. Maybe they're thinking, well, this is the route we got to go. Somebody with no concept of reality. I don't know. But Curtis, don't you like bread lines? Yeah, that's true. You're right. Socialism is good for those. If you like standing in line for a couple hours to hopefully get the last loaf of bread, it's good for that. Because it's an old adage, but it's true. Because the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. I'm waiting for the day my legs start hurting so I can go to a doctor. When he says what the problem is, I can say, this knee. Gojira, AOC makes me want to drink bleach. Yeah, she has that effect on a lot of us. She's just unbelievably airheaded. That new Green Deal is one of the funniest, most ridiculous things. It's a list of wishes. It's no different than if they'd have come out wanting to pass legislation saying that every family in America is going to be granted a mystical being that you could ride to the moon. You know, there's nothing in it. There's nothing of substance in it. We want to be completely off fossil fuels in 10 years. Okay. Well, we want to have these monstrous projects for infrastructure. What vehicles and equipment are you going to use to build this infrastructure when nothing's going to be running on fossil fuels? We want 10 or 12 years, we want every building in America to be updated and upgraded to meeting certain standards. I mean, it's just insane. The amount of money you'd be talking about is probably a number that hasn't even been invented yet. They'll have to just put it in multiples of numbers that we do understand. Brother, he says, let's just put all the politicians in one room and let them battle out to the death until one stands. It'll be the presidential tournament of power. Lewis is saying, UK in a bit of trouble. Yeah, no Brexit deal, and we're probably fucked harder than a porn star. Jamie says, wouldn't you agree the capitalism system has been abused? Oh, sure. I certainly have felt the negative side of capitalism as much as the positive. Yeah, I no problem admitting to that. I think capitalism is the best form of government when it's used properly. I think it's also the most abused form of government. Absolutely. I think capitalism as a system works very well. But there's been so many people raping the system for so long, it's perverted it all. Yes, I completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah, AOC wants to give people the money who don't work. Did you like that line in her facts section there? Those who are unable or unwilling to work. So where do you think that money comes from? Those of us who do work. But capitalism can't be used properly due to its nature. No, I disagree, Jack. I completely disagree with that. I think capitalism can be used properly. I think it hasn't been used properly. I think capitalism is an excellent form of government. There's no perfect form of governance. I think it's the best form of governance, but we can't allow people to pervert it, which is easier said than done. Let's see. AOC wants to ban cow fart chat. I mean, it was just... And then it was perfect timing, too, how she's going to get us away from air travel and go with train travel. Same day that comes out, California had to scrap their big project of that high-speed railway connecting San Francisco to L.A. Why? Because of the cost. Just like California last year was going to institute single-payer health care for the whole state. Got scrapped. Why? Because of the cost. But all that stuff won't work on a state level. But you know what? If we do it on a national level, then it's going to work. Oh, man. President Trump versus Prime Minister May in a boxing match? Woo! I got to put my money on May there. I think she's a psycho in a fight. I think the abuse of capitalism is what drove people to socialism. People make the argument that socialism, if used right, can be effective. What are your thoughts? No. I don't think there's anything where socialism works well. And again, I'll tell you why. Because when you have government running everything, which is what socialism wants, first of all, that's a bad idea. Governments will never be effective at running everything. Second of all, I think any society that prioritizes mediocrity or everybody being the same, wealth being redistributed so we can all be the same, rather than promotes hard work and an ability to achieve a level that you want, whether it be financially or whatever the case may be. I think the inferior system is the one that treasures and rewards mediocrity, and that's what socialism is, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, the tax rates you're going to pay, your income tax rates in a purely socialist society, even a democratic socialist society, are so extreme that it's going to change the way of life here in America. They point to the Scandinavian countries, things like that. That's all fine and good, and those people are comfortable with that way of life. However, look at their tax rates and then figure it out as opposed to yours. And when you figure out your tax rate, you can't say, okay, the government taxed me at 17% because that's what comes out of my check. If you get a return at the end of the year, that's not the taxes you paid. If you get half of that money back, you are only paying 7-8% in taxes. Now, let's go to 25 or 30 because you're going to need to, minimally, to pay for all these socialist programs. Way better off to always have free market availability wherever it's possible. That includes in healthcare. That doesn't preclude. The problem is everybody wants to go to extremes. Having free market insurance and having employer-provided insurance isn't a bad thing. If you need to expand what's done socially for those not who would rather not work, but those who can't work, those who are disabled, whatever the case may be, that's fine. That's fine, and that can be accomplished. That can be financially accomplished. But when you want to tear the whole thing down, take away everybody's insurance that they have now, like me, I love my insurance. Take it away from everybody because you need everybody to pay in because you have such a group of people that don't want to be bothered with paying in, then you're going to have a problem. And what doesn't get factored in often enough when they do these numbers, it's left out conveniently by the socialists. You put a plan like that in place, at the number of people going to the doctor, going to the hospital, is going to increase by at least 50%. I think that would be a minimal estimate. The system is going to be completely overwhelmed. Completely overwhelmed. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know about that, Jamie. I don't know what college you want me as a professor. If Obama ran against Trump, could have won election. Oh, Obama would have beaten Chanel. Would have beaten Trump. Yeah, I mean, you got that Constitution that stopped him because he's already served 2 terms. But yes, yeah, absolutely, Obama would have beaten. And I'm not even necessarily an Obama fan, but that's a fact. I don't think there's any way you could deny that. The fact that Trump won the presidency is amazing. All Democrats needed to do was not run someone who was completely unpalatable to a large sector of the society, and that's exactly who they ran. Because it's not like Trump became unpopular after he became president. He wasn't popular when he was running. He won because Hillary's just as bad or worse. People hated her. That's why he won. Brother E says Michelle Obama would definitely beat Trump by a landslide. I don't know, Brother E, you're going out on a limb there. If the election was held today, yes. But you have to remember, Michelle Obama has never been through the ringer. She's never run a political campaign. We don't know everything we need to know about her. You never know what's going to come up in the course of a campaign. We know very, relatively, from a political standpoint, very little about Michelle Obama. So until she had to be out there and running the grind, which she said herself she doesn't want to do, running the grind of a campaign and being under that microscope, you don't know. What if the election was held today and people said, here, Trump or Michelle Obama, of course she's going to win. Running through a campaign, I don't know. Let's see when we get to the finish line who would win. Yeah, just like Hillary Clinton. Like I say, yeah, Lex makes a good point. It's just amazing that somebody could lose to Trump when you figure how low his approval ratings were when he ran. But the Democrats ran an abysmal candidate. She would. There's a very good chance she would win, like Glenn says. But also, like Glenn says, I don't think it'd be a landslide. Once she had to stand up to that scrutiny, it breaks you down. You find every little wart on somebody. It brings you down. Chrome says, would you want to pay 20% taxes on every item you buy like I have to? No joke, man. The VAT on all sales transactions here is 20%. Wow. See, that's what I mean. And that's what our democratic socialists don't discuss when they talk about, well, this is working in the Scandinavian countries, it's working here, it's working there. It may be working, but it's not working at the same tax rates we pay. Not even close. You can say it's working, but it's not working under the same system. And what really pisses me off about Sanders, AOC, all of them, they absolutely refuse to even discuss how much they're going to have to raise taxes on the little guy. Because this whole bullshit about, well, we're going to we're going to steal from the rich people. You know, because you should, of course, you should be penalized for being successful. So we're going to steal their money. It's not even a drop in the bucket for what you're going to need for these programs. So the rest of it has to come from those of us who are working, because the ones who aren't working and are needing these benefits are not contributing. It's not hard to figure out. Dark Slaver, I don't want to pay any taxes. See, now I can't even agree. I don't mind paying taxes. If I just like it when the taxes are used appropriately. But I mean, I understand that living in a society, I want things like, I want to have my police department. I want the roads worked on, things like that. I don't mind paying taxes. I just want them to be used properly. And I don't want to pay taxes for anything. In other words, I don't want to pay taxes to get my health care. I'd rather go out and get my own health care in the free market. I don't want to pay taxes to pay for everybody's college. I'd rather, as I'm doing, I'll just pay for mine. Brax wants to go to college, I'll pay for it. I'll take care of me, you take care of you. I like that. I prefer that. What do I think of free healthcare? There is no such thing, Epic Wolf, there's no such thing as free healthcare. Healthcare has a cost. It's just a matter of who's going to pay it. And that's where socialists lead you astray. Well, free healthcare for all. It's not free. There's still a cost to it. So who pays for it? We do. So what do I think of single payer healthcare? No, not a fan at all. I am for fixing the parts of the current system that do not work. I am not for dismantling the system and starting over. Yeah, because like you say, Bradley, there is no such thing as free healthcare. It's got to be paid for some way, somehow. And then the next thing you hear from the socialists, well, we spend $600 million a year on defense. And that's where they really start getting me tweaked. In this day and age, with the world in the current state it's in, with Iran, China, Russia, all of them seeming aggressive to a certain degree, now is when you think it's a good idea to relinquish our hold as the number one military might in the world? I mean, it's so short-sighted, it's beyond idiotic. Just drives me crazy. Free healthcare is 20% taxes on all goods, among other taxes, like Chrome says. That's what the socialists don't want you to know. Curtis, what do you think of people on welfare? I don't have a problem with welfare as long as it's not abused, Patrick. I don't have a problem paying my taxes because somebody else got hurt, or somebody lost a job and they're having trouble finding another, or somebody's disabled. I don't think much of anybody. I don't have a problem paying taxes for that. I have a problem paying taxes for career welfare recipients, young able-bodied people that have jobs available out there and are like, no, I can stay home and make the same amount. I have a problem with that. But as far as, again, I don't ever have a problem with offering a hand up. I have a problem with offering handouts. I guess the best way to put it. I have another problem with high taxes like that because it's the middle class that takes the hit. You're right, Bradley. And that's, again, what the Democratic Socialists won't tell you, but it will be the middle class that gets annihilated. It absolutely will be. Healthy leg replaced with your unhealthy leg, Click says. Excuse me. But they just voted against withdrawing from Syria. Yeah, and that's that. The whole thing withdrawing from Syria, I understand why we do need to say, and Trump, I think, jumped the gun a little bit there. But you're right. There is a cost. There is a cost to protecting ourselves. And that cost sometimes comes in the form of things like keeping a presence in Syria. Because if you let those who want to come here and hurt you start building the momentum to do so overseas and you ignore it, that's how you do end up getting hurt. And that's the cost of military strength. Joe says, anti-Trump propaganda here in Germany during the election was disgusting. Mass media told us till the last minute that Hillary would win 100%. Most of them were saying that here too, Joe. I was like, stop making me root for him. Yeah, see, people think because I lean right that I'm a Trump supporter. And I don't consider myself a Trump supporter. I like a lot of his policies. I like his policies more than I like his opponent's policies. As far as a person, I think he's a kind of a dipshit. He just, the things he says, does, the way he presents himself sometimes makes me want to puke, but I still like his policies. I'm sorry, my daughter just texted me. I like his policies better, so I rooted for him. But I would like to see, as far as the Republicans go, I'm a big Nikki Haley fan. I'm really hoping that she becomes a candidate soon. Oh yeah, they they need to borrow PS4 controllers for my grandson's having a party with his buddies. Let me just respond to her real quick, guys. Now, see, you guys got me all worked up talking about this. I'm spending way too much time here. I'm not going to get my editing done today. People need to realize that free as a term is a lie. Nothing in the world is free except oxygen. You're 100% right, Omega. That's why it drives me nuts when you hear them say that. I'm for, free health care, free college. No, there is no such thing. Somebody's paying for it, and people don't ask that question. I like Ben Shapiro. I do think that Ben sticks to what he says, which is facts don't care about your feelings. I think he argues his points in a very factual, rational manner. I don't agree with him on everything. Like, for instance, I'm pro-choice, he's pro-life. So we have our differences, but I like the man a lot. I really do. I think he's a good dude. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. And he drives the libs nuts, so that makes me happy too. Okay. Let's see. We were talking Disney, Poppy, and then we got kind of sidetracked. Yeah, the State of the Union speech was one of his best, was probably the best speech of his presidency, Gojira. Yeah, that I'll agree with. Yeah. Yep, I think so too. Let's see. He's funny little Jew boy. I don't like Ben because he's way against us gay folks. I can understand that, Joe. I think he gets a bad rap for that. I don't think he's against gay people. I think because, and this is where I disagree with him, I think because of his religion, he thinks that being gay is inappropriate. And if I were a gay person, Joe, I get you. I would be offended by that. So that's why I say I depart with him. I honestly don't. I watched a lot of what he has to say. I don't think he hates gay people. And I don't think he would ever wish any ill will on gay people. Would he prefer that they couldn't marry and stuff? Yes, and that's where we part ways. I'm very pro-gay marriage. Listen, why should just the heteros suffer? You guys get married too, absolutely. You guys, you girls, go marry each other. Now, where I start to part ways is when you go beyond, not talking about gays, when you talk about the LGBTQ community, when you start talking about gender fluidity and there being anything more than two genders, then that's where you lose me. But as far as gay rights, no, I'd be hypocritical. I got way too many gay friends to want to deny any of them their rights. Excuse me. Let the gays be miserable. They should suffer too. Yeah, that's right, Jack Queen. I've been saying that for years when the whole debate came up, had always been engaged about gay marriage. It's like, why should the straights be the only ones suffering? Let them get married. Be careful what you ask for. I know a couple too, Chrome, believe it or not. I knew a couple gay people that were against gay marriage. I thought I was the only one. Ben doesn't hate gay people. He's really good friends with Dave Rubin. Yeah, that's what I mean. I generally don't think he hates gay people, Joe. I really don't. And again, I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just saying what I honestly believe. I just think that because of his religious beliefs, he doesn't believe in the lifestyle. As a human being, I don't think he would ever deny you basic human rights. It's just the romanticism of it. Back to Disney. Joe says, Trump called that Native American spokeswoman Pocahontas for crying out loud. Yeah, well, that's the problem, though, is Warren isn't Native American. She's a joke. She's ridiculous. I put her and Kirsten Gillibrand right in the same bucket together. They're a couple of idiots. My friend that was gay and against gay marriage, Big Green, was basically what I just said. He said, listen, let's not even open up that can of worms. He said, who needs that kind of constraint? That's what he used to say. Say, I've got my relationship. I'm comfortable in it. I don't need to take that step further. And it was just one person's opinion. But it just made me laugh when it was said because I actually knew somebody who said that. But he said, why get all the legalese tied into it? And that's how he felt. Gay pride is just an excuse for people to whine for things they already have. Well, and you see, nowadays there's a lot of whining for things that already have. The one that really drives me nuts is the income inequality. That women make 73 cents on the dollar that men make. That's so how fucking stupid. Absolutely untrue. That's only if you cherry pick your numbers to say take what all men make and average it out and all women make. If you start comparing what they make in same fields, it comes right out to within pennies. And sometimes it's even the other way. Women might have a little bit of an edge. The reason there's that income disparity is it just so happens that a lot of women are attracted to fields that don't pay quite as much. The example I like to use is social work. Social work is a heavily dominant female environment, and it just doesn't pay that well. And a lot of women to this day still tend to work part-time more so than their male counterparts because they like to be at home, being giving care to the children and things like that. When you compare the wages in the same fields, there's no wage gap. There's no disparity. Omega says, the fact of the matter is everything has a cost, monetary or otherwise. Correct. I preaching to the choir. Completely agree. Completely agree. Mickey has no gender. He is a god, Jamie says. That's why I am Nitro. Again, maybe I'm fortunate because so much of my life, I mean, not when I was growing up when I was young, but as I got later into my teens and stuff, I was always around gay people. So it was like, you just didn't see them as you didn't see anything that different about him. Oh, he likes dudes. Okay, good for him. Who gives a shit? I've never understood that. How does that affect me? Why would I hate somebody because they like dudes? Or is a dude that likes dudes? Hell, less competition for me. It's hard enough to get women. If some of the guys want to be on the other team and get the hell out of my pool and maybe make a better opportunity for me, I'm all for it. I identify as an attack helicopter. The lack of helipads in this country is oppressing me. That's pretty good. It's the same with Pence's Zapper. It's probably exaggerated a bit. I don't think he wants to crisp gay people at kill. I just think he's against gay marriage. Yeah, Chrome. I think Pence is a little more extreme. I think he's more extreme than like Ben Shapiro. I think Ben Shapiro genuinely has no issue with gay people and just doesn't feel that gay marriage is something that should be recognized because of his religion. Whereas Pence is a little too over the top. The whole deprogramming stuff bothers me. It's like, listen, if a kid has grown up and they're to an age now where they have that kind of wherewithal, and I've known too many gay people to think that it's something that somebody goes out there and decides to be. You either are or you aren't. When I was a kid, I can remember we had a kid in the class that at that time you didn't realize. When I was little, you knew gay people existed, but you didn't even know anything about it. And I remember in elementary school, the kid, now looking back, was clearly gay. He was stereotypically gay, he did grow up, obviously, to discover he was gay. But we didn't know how to relate to him because he was so effeminate in the way he acted and things of that nature. Whereas nowadays, I think you would go, oh, okay, he's obviously got homosexual tendencies. Back then, he got bullied a lot, but it was because people were ignorant. They just didn't have any idea what to make of him. Goddamn gays are stealing our women. Wait, Luke says, yeah. Like I say, maybe it's just, again, what you're brought up with, but that's why I never had, I can't even come up with a reason as to why somebody being gay is something that should matter to me. What do I care who you like to bang? As long as you're getting laid, good for you. Uncle Curtis should be Prime Minister and Emperor Mickey. Well, and that's the thing too, though, Michael. Even you know what? I've had a couple times in my life where I got hit on by gay guys. Again, that didn't even don't bother me. Hell, it's complimentary that somebody actually thinks you're good looking. What did I tell him? I told him, "Oh, sorry, dude, I'm straight." Didn't hurt my feelings any. Didn't make me want to punch anybody. Again, I honestly, genuinely consider that a compliment. If somebody thinks you're good looking enough to ask you out, just cause, and in both cases that happened, it only happened twice, unfortunately, but in both cases that happened, I said, no, sorry, dude, I'm straight. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. And that was the end of it. M says, all right, Bang, Marry, Kill, Disney edition. Ursula, Quasimodo, Cruella. Oh. I was just going through something. Hold on, I'll tell you in just a second. Let me show you something. I'm surprised. Perfect timing to bring that up. Let me show you guys something quick, and then I gotta get going. I'll get none of my editing done. I was just going through some pictures. Did I put them in? Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? Oh, right here. Uh, oh, shit. The picture, it hasn't been... God damn it, I can't rotate it on here. Can I? No, this, I don't think I have a rotate. As what happens is, the pictures are so huge that they show up on their side crap. But anyway, there's a picture of me with Cruella. Now I got to figure out. All right, bang, marry, kill. I'm gonna. Bang Cruella, kill Quasimodo, marry Ursula. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going. I'm gonna bang Quasimodo just because the whole that voice would bother me after a short period of time. Same happened to me. Glenn says coworker was hitting on me. I was just like, so you think I'm attractive? Thank you. Yeah, that's the way I took it. I mean, what the hell? I'm not going to complain about anybody thinking I'm attractive enough to be asked out. I don't care if it was a dude. Again. And it's not like it's people. Some people want to make out like that's some sort of big deal or something. It's like, sorry, dude, I'm straight. Oh, okay, that's it. I don't. Brother says I don't like when guys get offended and off the rails when a gay guy hits on you, or says you're hot. Like, they do seem insecure. Again, that's a compliment no matter how you slice it. It's if somebody thinks you're attractive enough to ask you out, that's a compliment. Michael says, so guy offered to buy me a beer. I was at a regular bar, so it was weird, of course. I can't reject free alcohol. Then later it got weird, and I had to tell him to fuck off. Well, there's a difference, too. Gay people are no different than anybody else. That some of them are assholes. Now, if somebody's an asshole about it, it's a different thing. But my experiences were never like that. It was just like, in both situations, when I lived in California, as a matter of fact, I was young enough to get asked out. But it wasn't a gay bar. It wasn't a straight bar or anything like that. It was just a gathering, and they took a shot. Can't, like I say, you can't deny that. Uncle Curtis, Jamie says, police girl will suck you off, you let Pip bang you. Would you agree? Yes. Because as soon as you got to the police girl suck you off thing, everything else just went blank after that. That's all I could focus on. I thought you didn't like contract, but you saved one from the scary guy. Oh, gay dude hit on me once. I shot him in the face because it's wrong. I think Jack's kidding, though. I certainly hope so. Joe says, you're a hot, thick bear after all. Well, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. But yeah, like I say, I'll never understand that. How is it not cool to have somebody think you're attractive? In any sense. Oh, I certainly do miss Filthy Frank. All right, guys, I gotta go. Oh my gosh, we've been on for so long, and this was not a Disney chat hardly at all, but it was a blast. Thank you for this conversation. The next live stream we do, I will do a Curtis 2020 live stream. We'll talk anything you want to talk about my candidacy for president. Spread the word. We should be able to get our number of Curtis Candy votes up to at least 7, I would think, by the end of the year. But thanks for this, guys. This is a blast, as it always is. And as always, pum-poo, pum-poo. Let's get some sticky stuff all over the place. We'll bang flashily like Buggy. But most importantly, as always, goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.